These guys are ridiculous. These guys are ridiculous.
Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording on Tuesday, January 2nd, second day of the new year, and the Celtics and Thunder game just wrapped up. Celtics fall 127-123 in what was, as much as it sucks that the Celtics lost, a phenomenal basketball game. That was a crazy game. I've seen already a million people on Twitter saying that was the best game of the year. Thunder and Celtics both came out firing in the first quarter. Thunder were red hot. Celtics kept up. Third quarter came around. Celtics defense got shredded by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the Thunder. Fourth quarter came around. Celtics did it right back to the Thunder, locking up Shai. Tatum did a great job on him and stormed their way all the way back. Had some chances in the end. OKC just managed to hold on thanks to Bigfoot Kristaps Porzingis in part. That's a joke, obviously, but crazy basketball game. Thunder just squeak out a win. These were, I mean, the Thunder are for real. This was a great game.
So it would have been sick if the Celtics could have got literally any stop.
That third quarter was rough for that. Yeah. I thought they did a better job down the stretch in the fourth, but that third quarter was just, there was a lot of space in the middle and the Celtics just, they couldn't get anything happening on that end.
It felt like the first three quarters, they really couldn't get a stop. I was very impressed with Tatum tonight. I was impressed with Tatum's shot selection. I was impressed with his discipline, his focus on getting the best opportunity no matter what. And like you mentioned, he took it upon himself to defend Shai. That's really impressive leadership stuff from Tatum.
I think it was his best game of the season.
Maybe his best game of the season. This is the second straight good Tatum game. And it feels like we may be starting to see a bit of a change. Tatum with 30 points, 8 assists, and 13 rebounds. 5 of those were offensive. Granted, 2 were like on the same possession when he got blocked. But nonetheless, he was doing everything tonight. And that is so important from your top guy, the superstar, to be in the trenches, battling on the glass, setting up his guys. He had a great pass to Derek White late in the game to give him a 3 in the corner. He just really didn't force too much tonight. There were a couple. There was the 3.
There was 3. I counted them during the game.
3/2 at the half that went in. There was the 3 at the end of the third. And I can't really recall anything in the fourth quarter where I was like, God damn it, Tatum. Like, just relax. Like, no, you were waiting for it. When they got the ball down, I want to say 4 or 6, and White hit the 3. It might have been 5. And White hit the 3. They ran something with Tatum at the top of the 3, top of the key. And my dad was like,
he's shooting this.
Well, yeah, he's going to shoot this. And instead he drove and created something really great. I was like, oh, wow. Like, good job, Tatum. You were patient. It paid off. And I was really happy to just see him play a game that was in the flow of it. There were times where he was put in situations to succeed without having to create it too. To what we've talked about in the past. He had a couple of situations where he cut to the basket. He got catch and shoot 3 opportunities. One of them was off an offensive rebound, but still seeing more of that is good. And it allows him to feel the pressure to create less as a whole.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think this was Tatum's best game of the season. I saw a lot of people complaining about Tatum on Twitter too, which is like, guys, pick your spots. Pick your spots.
I mean,
guys.
I'm all for it, but today's not the day.
No, Tatum was awesome in this game. Kristaps Porzingis also awesome. The Bigfoot at the end of the game was very tough break. That said, it happens, right? Like, as much as shitty as it was, and as much as you do have to make sure you're behind the line in that spot, like, that's kind of hands up. That's kind of the story of the night. The Celtics got a lot of tough breaks on that night. The Thunder shot 45% on 3. Their game plan was, we'll live with Josh Giddey shooting some 3s if it means we can start clogging the lane a little bit more for Shai and Jalen Williams. And then Josh Giddey decided to make 4 of his 7 threes. So what are you going to do? Big man Jalen Williams made a big 3 in a big spot when Al Horford tried to help on the drive. What are you going to do? He was 2 feet behind the line, and he's not a great 3-point shooter. What are you going to do? Even Shai, who is not really a great 3-point shooter, made 3 of 5 tonight. And a couple of them were nuts 3s. And so the shot making in this game was just so high level. Like, Both teams were making some big time shots. And I mean, on the flip side, Derek White, that shot at the end of the game was nuts. Fading away in the corner, moonball shot. Jayson Tatum fighting in the paint for a scoop layup. Kristaps Porzingis driving around Chet, drawing a foul. Like the play in this game was so high level. You could easily see both of these teams playing in the finals this year. Like that is how great this game was. And if we really want to dissect it, yes, the Celtics defense should have been better in the third quarter, but at the same time, that's why the Thunder are so good. The Thunder could have been better, in the fourth quarter guarding, the offensive rebounds, because the Celtics grabbed a few there in big spots, right? There are mistakes both teams made. This was just a terrible night for Jaylen Brown not to have it. Like realistically speaking, Jaylen Brown, 4 of 18 from the field, 0 of 8 from 3. This was just the worst possible night for him to have perhaps one of his worst games of the season. And it's tough to blame him. There were a few shots in there where it's like, probably don't do that. Like, what are we doing? We're taking a spin around midi when you've been off all night. But like
shots,
for the most part, I feel like a lot of the shots he got were good. I mean, the Thunder were just leaving him open by the end there from 3, and he just couldn't hit the side of a barn. Like I said, this was a phenomenal basketball game between two very good teams. And the Celtics just fell short in the end. And I mean, Shea might be top 3 player in the NBA. He's the best player the Celtics have played all season. I'll put it that way.
So and I want to talk about Jaylen. I don't really care about Shea. Jaylen was bad. Very bad. Jaylen Brown was bad to the worst degree at certain points of this game. But I also felt, and I do think 0 of 8 from 3 is like, let's figure out that they're not falling for you. But also, late in this game, he got, one of them was at the buzzer. And then there were a couple ones that were open, that were catch and shoot. So, like, it's like, you kind of have to take them. And I didn't really hate it. But like you said, there were points in this game where he was just not, like, recognizing that it was not his game. And this is what we talked about, like, last month, when it was like, Jaylen Brown has a strong grasp or effect on what this team's ceiling can be. And I think if he recognized that this might be an off night a little bit sooner, maybe they win this game, because it went far too late into this one. I think he cut it off, and it just happened a bit too late. It wasn't perfect. It's impressive that he got to the line 8 times. Credit to him. He did a good job at forcing the issue despite struggling.
He helped keep them in it.
Turnovers.
He helped keep them in the game in that second quarter when he was, pushing in transition and driving and getting foul shots. Like, it's not like he was completely terrible the whole game. He just couldn't get a shot to go for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, 4 of 8. I mean, he was 1 of 10 at one point. And the one make was a dunk.
Yeah, 0 of 8 from 3.
It was ass, all the way ass from Jaylen today. It was tough. Haven't seen a bad Jaylen game and who knows how long. It's going to happen every once in a while. You obviously don't want them to lose, but man, if he gave them anything, they might win this game. And if Drew Holiday gave them anything,
Holiday was also
they
very
probably
bad.
Win this game. He did have 7 assists, but 3 turnovers is not the norm for Drew. And 2 of 8 from the field was just ass.
Yeah, Drew.
Missed some tough ones too. Like layups that you thought were going to drop, and they just did not. And they were timely misses too. It was like, damn, man. There was a swing where Drew Holiday missed a layup, and then OKC, I think it was Shea, came down the other end and hit a 3. It was a 5-point swing at the end of the third quarter, and it was just head and hands type stuff. Through the first half, they had done a great job of closing the quarters. It's what helped them take a lead at the break. It was like, wow. Like, Evan Valenti tweeted, he was like, you got to recognize, like, they are doing a great job of closing quarters. They did in the first, did in the second. And I was like, hell yes, this is true. They've done much better at this season. It's what a championship level team will do. Like, this is how you differentiate yourself from the bad team or the average to good teams that aren't really like the ones that people take seriously, is you just take advantage of when you're in position to take a lead and build your lead. And they did a good job of that in the first half. It just didn't happen in the third quarter. It was an avalanche. It sucked. It was terrible to watch. But yeah, timely misses from Drew Holiday. So bad that Pritchard closed the game over him, which is kind of
Pritchard
weird.
did well. Pritchard did really well, though. I like that
move. It was a Pritchard game.
He gave them a lot of energy.
With only 5 points?
Yeah, he gave him a lot of energy in spots where they needed. I thought it was the right call. I mean, Yeah, like you said, he only had 5 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. He had 2 steals, but he was giving them a lot of good stuff on the court, and it felt like he was sort of part of the group that was leading the comeback. And I like the move from Joe to leave him in the game for when they did make it. But Drew and Jaylen just didn't give him much. Great Porzingis game, 12 of 18, 2 of 3, 34 points, 10 boards, 3 blocks, a couple big blocks, and I think it was the second quarter. He was great in this one. Derek White also awesome. 7 of 12, 5 and 9, 19, 5 and 6. Like he was great. Sam Hauser made a couple big threes. Cornette was fine when he was in the game too. Horford had 5 blocks. They took one away. He had 6. He had 7 points, 3 assists, 5 blocks. Like as much as it sucks that they lost, I don't think the Celtics played terrible in this game. It was just a 6-minute or whatever stretch in the third quarter of them missing layups and open threes and the Thunder getting out in transition and just killing them. And they just couldn't find their footing for the life of them. It's like you're trying to find your grip rock climbing and the rock falls out of the side of the mountain. Like you just can't fucking catch yourself. And that's what happened. They bounced back in a big way, excuse me, in the fourth quarter. And I credit them for that. Credit Jayson Tatum. He did a great job clawing them back in there. Like we talked about on both ends. Just some monster shot making from the Thunder in this game when Shea just didn't have it in the fourth. Chet nailed a couple huge threes. Jalen Williams had a nasty mid-range on Tatum to help seal it. Like, credit the Thunder. They made big shots when it mattered to close out the Celtics in a game where they had zero momentum. And they were just able to hit the shots when they needed to keep the Celtics, just like the hand holding out the baby brother, like barely.
Score early this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 money bet. That's $150 if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action, NFL. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including you got spreads, you get your player props, you got over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/Boston and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
At the last second.
What was good about this game is I really didn't feel like it was one where you're watching it and you're like, wow, like they're just not trying. Like the Celtics did put together a really good effort in this game. 17 offensive rebound is nothing to sneeze at. It's pretty good. They out-rebounded the Thunder by, let's see if I can do some math here. 9?
Yeah.
Looks like
10.
9. But
10? I see 10. I see 56-46 on the NBA.com box score. But regardless, they out-rebounded the Thunder.
How the hell they have 46 rebounds, but they had 10 offensive rebounds and 28 defensive rebounds? How does that make sense?
I don't know.
What kind of math is that, NBA?
I do see that. That doesn't make much sense.
The Celtics, 47 total between 17 offensive and 30 defensive. 56.
But 56. Yeah, NBA box score.
Ball goes out of bounds? Is that what they...
I have no idea.
I don't know. NBA.com trickery. I didn't even see the total rebounds category, to be honest. But yes, back to the point. Like, good effort game from the Celtics. It's annoying that they lost. I hate when they go down big and then they come back just to I always felt like this was not going to be like a complete comeback. It felt like they didn't have enough time. And I really, really hate when they get your hopes up again. But they did job of fighting back, and they did it the right way. Like, it wasn't fluky. They forced turnovers. They got stops for the only time in the game for 5 minutes.
See, I didn't feel like it was they're dragging us back now because it never felt like they weren't trying. It just felt like they got outplayed for a quarter and they had to scrap their way back. Like I don't attribute the third quarter mishap to not trying. I think the Thunder just played really well and the Celtics couldn't find their footing. I know, and that's why I'm saying I didn't feel like it was that as much as I know the feeling you're describing, and I was explaining why I didn't see it in that light in this game. This was tough. I saw a lot of people complaining about some of the late game stuff. I saw people complaining about Jayson Tatum almost throwing the ball away when he drove and kicked to Kristaps. That was a fucking phenomenal play.
Idea.
It was a great play. It was just a miscommunication. Tatum thought Kristaps would stay, and in Tatum's defense, if Kristaps did stay put, he would have had an open three. But Kristaps drove, and there was a miscommunication. Also, for what it's worth, Joe called the timeout, and the Celtics got an open or great look because of it. Look at that. Look what happened. And Joe didn't call a timeout, and they got the Derek White 3. So, like, great coach game from Joe, in my opinion. Great coach game from Mark Daigneault. I thought both coaches and both teams were awesome in this game. They took the same amount of shots, 92 for the Celtics, 91 for the Thunder, 43s a pop. Celtics got to the line more. They were aggressive. It was a tough missed free throw at the end of the game there. I think I forget who it was, but they shot 24 or 29. They hit their free throws. The Thunder also missed 4 free throws, so it was equal there. Celtics stayed in the game because of offensive rebounding, 17-10. They did turn the ball over 14 times to the Thunder's 10, so those two things balanced out. Like, this was a very, very even game. It's just the Celtics weren't able to mount all the way of the comeback because the Thunder won the third and the Celtics won the fourth, but the Thunder won the third by a little bit more than the Celtics won the fourth. Like it just came down to end game shot making. Thunder made big shots. Celtics just couldn't get back over the hump. This was a phenomenal basketball game.
I mean, I just don't get people getting mad at the fourth quarter stuff. Like, that was the only quarter where I really felt like they played great. Early, you talked about this game and, like, you felt like you didn't get roped back in because you didn't feel like it was like an effort thing. And I agree, it's not an effort thing. But I think from the jump, I had this feeling of, like, it really felt like they had to play perfect to stay in it.
It's because the Thunder
and then
great.
When they kind of, like, weren't able to keep it up, it really felt like it was over. Like, the whole third quarter just felt like an onslaught. Then when they come out in the fourth and OKC makes back-to-back threes, it's like, okay, this one's chalked. Then they battle all the way back. I mean, yeah,
it did
it
feel
was a really good game, but I don't know. It never felt like the Celtics had a chance to me.
I don't know. I thought they were in it at the end. I thought they had a chance.
No, at the end, I thought, they were a stop away. But, like, up until that point, I never really thought they were in it.
I don't know.
Even when they were up at the break, I was just like, I don't know. Like, it feels like it just felt like everything. Here's why. Everything the Celtics got felt like it was really hard. A lot of their looks were very difficult. Yeah.
I think it's because.
And for the Thunder, it was not the case.
I think because the Thunder did play perfect. They played as close to a perfect game as they possibly could have. Every big shot you saw them take, it went in. Every time they drove, it felt like they could find space. And that's not a knock on the Celtics defense outside of that short period in the third quarter. Like, they are just a very good basketball team. Well, like, they're one of the top teams in the league for a reason.
This was a really bad Drew defensive game.
He wasn't good.
Like,
he wasn't good.
He got blown by a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
Felt like I was watching Dame out there.
I will also say a lot of the times he did get blown by were Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and that's not as much as you'd like Drew to be in front of those guys. Like, Shai is who he is for a reason. Like, he's
an elite player, but
he's not elite. He's the best. Like, I'm not saying it was good, but I'm saying like
it was a good game, or you can't be like that was bad.
No, he was. I know it's his thing, but Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the best in the world at driving to the basket, and it sucked that Drew wasn't able to stay in front of him. And I saw someone tweet, if Drew and Derek can't stop Shai, then I don't think anybody can. And I think it might be Tatum slowed him down, but it was a team effort. If as soon as Shai got to the paint, Tatum was there with his length, and then they showed two defenders. Like, I don't know. The Thunder played as close to perfect as they could. The Celtics had some hiccups, some early turnovers hurt them, some poor defensive execution in the third quarter hurt them. But, like, I mean, the Thunder were fucking phenomenal in this game. That's
more positive Celtics thing before we wrap. I don't think it's available right now, but I would imagine they had a lot of potential assists.
They missed some.
It felt shots. Like they really did a good job of finding the open guy, and it
had 33.
Fall. They had 33 assists, and
a lot of assists.
They kind of shot like ass.
Yeah,
like they did and they didn't. 45% from the field really isn't, or 46 if you round up, isn't great. 38% from three is pretty decent.
46% from the field is pretty fine. Like, it's pretty average.
That's what I said. It's fine. It's
okay. I thought you said it wasn't great. I'm like, it's pretty fine.
I mean, 50 is my benchmark. That's the way I look at it.
You're an asshole. Fuck you.
Not an asshole. It's like not crazy.
That's absolutely crazy. 50% from the field is like an amazing game.
50% from the field isn't that crazy.
All right. Okay. With the number of threes they take, that's crazy, but sure. Yeah, I mean, it was a great game. It was a great game from both sides. Celtics slept up in a couple spots, and the Thunder played pretty perfect. And when the other team's playing pretty perfect, there's only so much you can do.
And they shoot 48.3% for the year. So, I mean, I guess 50 is a little bit high, but average is 48%.
Sure. So it was a little bit below average. I don't know. It's tough. They missed some good shots. They missed some layups. Missed some open threes.
The layups suck.
Jaylen shooting. What is this? Let's see. They shot 15 of 32 from 3 without Jaylen. So they shot 46.8% from 3 outside of Jaylen Brown, who
That
shot
is like the easiest math ever.
Yeah, that's
you don't have to take any makes away.
No, don't have to do much. So Celtics literally get 2 or 3 of those to go down.
I know it's because OKC was like kind of forcing them to do it, but it is annoying like when the guy that can't make a 3 has taken the second most on the team.
Yeah.
Happy to see only 5 Tatum threes, though.
You can't not take them, though. If you were open from 3, you
can't
not
if he's catching and shooting and there's nobody guarding him, you have to shoot the shot.
You saw what happens, too. He got open on a 3 in the fourth quarter, and he, like, froze. He just didn't shoot it. He drove, and they ended up turning the ball over. Like, you have to take the open looks, and it just sucks he didn't have it in this one. It was frustrating. But what are you going to do? It happens.
Also,
this was
Porzingis' 10 rebounds were offensive. It's crazy.
Yeah, dude, he was killing them. Like that is the reason the Celtics were in this game is because the offensive rebound, 17-10. Like they found spots where they had the advantage, and they utilized it. So credit the Celtics for staying in this game. It's a tough loss, but this is far from the most concerning loss of the season. Like this is a tough one against a phenomenal basketball team.
The sky is falling loss. It's just like wow. Game went probably 20 minutes longer than it needed to, and I'm annoyed that they faked a comeback.
I don't think. Whatever. I'm not going to sit here and fight you on it. Good game. Tough one for the Celtics to drop. They'll be back in action. 2-day break, right?
Friday.
They'll be back on Friday.
So you get to sit with this one for a little bit.
Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll let Sam wrap it up.
Hey, thank you very much for listening or watching. If you're watching, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of these game recaps or full-length pods or film breakdowns or Talking C's with Bobby Kravitsky or our 30-minute pregame streams. We're live before every single game. We're here. Come in the chat. Join us. Also, leave a like and comment. Tell us what you thought of the loss. You can also find us on streaming services. If you're on Apple or Spotify, follow the pod. If you do so, the full-length pods and game recaps will be right in your inbox, just the audio versions. If you want to reach out to us via email, hbtcpod@gmail.com. We take your emails. We read them every pod. You can reach out to us on social at How About Them C's. That's Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Facebook is just the name of the podcast. Our live streams are there as well as Twitter. If you want to follow Jack on Twitter, it's at JackSimoneNBA. You can follow me at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us. Bye.
Tic-tac-toe.